so much for sharing your views on that. So now we come to a very interesting part of the interview, which is of course on a lighter note. We'd like to know things on a personal level with you. So what is the first thing that you do the moment you enter your office?
I mean, being in the position that I am in, some days are the most happening days because everything is positive. So it's only when things are the most positive it comes to me, and when things are most negative it comes to me as well.
Okay.
So some days are very good, some days are not. But the firefighting part of it will always remain when you enter the office. But I think the focus always has been, when I enter the office, I have to do at least one strategic thing that will take the company forward.
Wow.
Now that's a goal. I don't think it's too big a goal because you know what those strategic areas are. That one small thing, one strategic thing that you pick up in a day and you implement it. After about 22 working days, you have done about 22 strategic things that's taking your company forward.
That's huge productivity.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean, these small little things. Sometimes people or professionals tend to overlook, But if you have a productive thought, I'm a believer. Use technology. I mean, just chalk it down, and when you have time, just ponder over it, and try to implement it. And I'm sure then it gives you tremendous insight, into your business.
Absolutely. So coming to the next question, what is the one thing you like the most, and the one thing that you like the least about your job? So the most least.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I like the most is the way our customers connect with us.
Okay.
It's a great feeling because whenever they have a problem, the first people they remember is us.
Wow.
So I think it's a great thing for us, that if I need certain finishing, you remember a finish on the car and then you remember Dynagrade. So I think that's it's a tremendous emotional appeal that people connect us with.
Okay.
So
what would be the least thing that you like about
I would say with the administrative activity increasing, I kind of miss sometimes being on the field.
Okay. So
Meeting people because you see in my hearts and hearts I'm still a sales guy.
Okay.
And your asset base is nothing but your connections in the market.
True.
So that's where, I mean, no complaints though, but yeah, I miss it sometimes.
So you still want to go on the field and...
Yeah, I kind of, sometimes, when I'm with my team and we are on a customer call, sometimes I don't even give them a chance to talk, because I'm a little bit excited talking to customers. Yeah, so I miss that sometimes, yes, but I think it's all part and parcel of growing up.
Your own way out.
Part and parcel of growing up, yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. So what were you paid in your first job?
It's very interesting and it's nice because when I look back, it always keeps me grounded. I was paid about 1800 rupees a month as a stipend.
Okay.
And my father, because coming from the business and I was kind of ditching his business and being a bright academic student, finished the engineering, also top 4-5 students in the class.
Right.
And it was like a heartbreaker on the day one.
True.
But then we said, okay, we thought the engineering was the end of it. No, it was just the starting.
So I will definitely not ask you what you're earning now. I'm sure about that. Coming to your, what is your biggest strength as a person?
I would say I am able to conceive an idea and implement it too.
That's a unique combination.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest strength because an action without idea and idea without action, they will all be incomplete.
True.
So I think that's my biggest strength. I would say.
Okay. And what would be your weakness?
I would say sometimes because I have a tremendous eye for detailing. Sometimes I would say that there's a cell phone kept here. It's not completely in pattern. It should be like this.
Okay.
So sometimes, I mean, it's your biggest strength in a way, and it's also your biggest weakness because sometimes if you are stuck, you are stuck.
True.
Because that's the way you are. You want things to be
in a particular
fashion. And sometimes in the practical world,
it's not doable every time.
Yeah, you kind of got to move on. So.
Okay. What makes you happy?
I mean, as I said, our company is very young. You know, so every day we do something different. Just to give an example, we are very rapidly changing the way you know the garage segment works in India. Now, a decade ago, people would just put maybe a 15, 16, 17-year-old guy and make him sand the whole car.
Whole car, true.
And now, when you look at you know, people use the machine to be able to sand the car at the garage level. I mean, doing it at the manufacturing, okay, they have the resources.
True.
So when I see this scenario changing
True.
in the garage segment, I personally think that I have really contributed to that. You know, and this feeling to be able to contribute, because you see, we are all professionals, we get paid for the work that we do.
True.
But to be able to contribute to an industry wherein people can really relate that, okay, Dynabrid was the company, Mr.
Made
Sajid
life
was the
easier.
person, he was the person who introduced this concept to this market. I think it's probably the happiest feeling.
That's, I'm sure it makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we come to the next segment, which is more like rapid fire questions. So you have to tell me the first thing.
So I get really scared when I hear the rapid fire. It's okay.
Okay. So describe Mistral in one word.
Aggressive.
Okay. Describe what Dynabrid means to you in one word.
Passion.
Okay. Favorite destination?
I mean, I don't really repeat the places that I visit because I'm a very innovative kind of a person. I like to change. But yes, wherever you have a lot of natural beauty, sun and sand.
So you're more of a beach person?
More of a beach person, that's right.
So if not the professional career, where would you have been?
I still feel that, you know, being a computer programmer is still my hobby. I just love to solve the problem, you know, it's like, it's kind of inherent. You know, the way everything has to be logical.
Right.
So if not in this profession, probably I would be a programmer somewhere.
Great. I'm sure you're still going to do something about it.
Well, I try and do that. I mean, the ERP guys who come to our building for discussions always have a tough time discussing because I want to know every bit of it, you know. So it's kind of the hobby which I still want to kind of hone.
Well, wish you good luck for that.
Thank you.
One love.
Driving.
Okay, so you.
I love cars. I love to drive. Yeah.
Okay. Anything you'd like to share? Any trip that you did or drove?
I mean, again, in India, you know, it's still not
India is a different.
it's still not a popular, you know, way where you kind of dump everything in the car and you kind of move on.
True.
But I just love to do that once in a while with my family. It's a great stress buster for me. You know, and I just love it. I mean, that's why, I mean, being connected to the automotive industry, drive the best cars, and enjoy life. You know.
That's really great to know. And anything left to do yet?
I would say, I mean, this meeting that we are having, you know, I'm sure it's going to help a lot of students who will hear our conversation. I think this is something which I actually wanted to give it back, you know, to the education, people who are connected to the education, that do your education part seriously. You know, I see a lot of young generation here who want to just finish their course and be a part of some company somewhere. I mean, and I think your education is the most critical part of your learning process. Don't take it lightly, especially the management education, because I remember going back our days, we would fight with the professors because we want to learn. We were hungry for learning. You know, but I see today things are changing pretty rapidly. You know, people don't really challenge themselves or challenge whatever has been told to them. You know, when you start challenging the obvious, that's the time when you really learn. So my sincere advice to students, you know, and just coming back to whatever you asked me, wherever I have an opportunity, maybe I would want to give you know, some talks sometimes, you know, to educational institutes somewhere, to be able to really spread the message that you know, there is nothing in this world that can really replace good quality education. And that's the most critical time. I mean, and people should not just let it go away, you know, and just let it just while away their time doing a lot of other things, you know, which probably they can at the later stage of their life.
True, that's an excellent learning. So I think that's a very good learning when you say that don't follow the line that people normally make. Disrupt it. Try to question the current norms that are there. That's where the real learning comes.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at, if I would have asked you 2 decades ago that do you think Mr. Bill Gates would ever be challenged? I'm sure probably 99.9% of people would say the answer is no.
No.
But Steve Jobs, well, thought differently.
And he created quite a dent.
Exactly, and that's why as I said, the first step is if you are not convinced you can do it, how would you manage to convince others? So challenge.
True. Okay, coming to the last segment of the interview, we'd like to know how Nischal was when he was 18.
Very calm, quiet, very studious.
Okay.
A long hair.
So rock star.
Oh yeah, kind of into breakdancing also.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so yeah, you should not really miss out. That's what I said. Okay, education is important. We have to do it. We have to be focused. But we got to be enjoying life in whatever way we can.
True.
So yeah, so I was but I think one thing I probably had it in me since a young age, the ability to dream.
I think
So that's
the very first thing you mentioned at the start of the interview.
That's right.
So I think my learning from this interview is that you need to dream in order to do anything in life for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so Nischal at 25.
More mature for sure. And that's an age where you get to know the realities of life.
Right.
Working towards getting married at some stage.
Right.
So you are more mature as a professional. You know that dream, but also be realistic. I mean, 3 to 5 year goals.
Right.
You got to set for yourself, and it's again a very important aspect of life. We just cannot have distant goals and not realize where we are. So I think a little bit more practical at the age of 25.
Okay. So Nischal at 30.
I would say having set the basic things in life, you come back to what is it that you really want to do in life.
Right.
You start looking for meaning in everything that you do, because you're not really worried at that age. I was not really worried at that age of my bread and butter, because I knew that I had kind of secured it. So I started looking for very meaningful work that I really wanted to do. And as they say, if you really enjoy your work, then you're not working, you're only enjoying.
True.
So probably at that age, I sincerely wanted to do something which would really make me feel happy.
Right.
And I'm glad, the steps that I took, it got me to
Where you are.
a place where I am today.